Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with another fantasy football video. Today's video is a buy or sell 8th round ADP video. This is the second video of the day. The first video was a mock draft from earlier today, so you can go on my channel down below after this video and go find that. And while you're down below, you might as well click that subscribe button because I'm going to be giving you guys the tips and tricks to win to win your draft, to win your games, to win during the season, to dominate your draft, and to win pretty much everything. If you want to win your fantasy football championship, pretty much my channel is the one-stop shop to doing that. So please click that subscribe button. So we're doing the buy or sell 8th round ADP video today. Pretty much what that means is, will I buy or sell a player at their current average draft position in the 8th round? Or will I draft or not draft them? Pretty much is what that means. Buy or sell just sounds a lot better. So let's get in the video. The first guy is at the 801, Jordan Howard, former Chicago Bear, a guy I like to trash because of how trash he was on the Bears. But this year, in my opinion, at the 801, he's a buy. And you might say, Nick, you like Myles Sanders so much. Why would you buy Jordan Howard? And you know what I tell you? Myles Sanders today, when I'm recording this video at 11:47, that's what happened. But tomorrow, or it was technically yesterday for you, Myles Sanders got hurt. He got back up. Yeah. But Myles Sanders has dealt with injuries in the past. So if Myles Sanders is slow to get started and Jordan Howard plays, say, 4 games as the running back one on the team, at an 8th round ADP being the number one on the Eagles may have some definite solid upside in the 8th round. He could be a guy that's a top 24 running back in fantasy for a few weeks during the season. If Myles Sanders is not able to get going, if he's playing like trash, he's playing like shit when they're giving him the time to do it, then it may end up being the Jordan Howard show this year. So with an 8th round draft selection, I don't mind picking Jordan Howard if I'm not able to snag Mr. Myles Sanders, and I won't be too mad about it. So at the 802, we have Kareem Hunt, Mr. Sir Kicks a lot over here. Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt is now he's gone from one of the best offenses in the league to another great offense in the Browns, but this time he is suspended. So he's a sell. I won't draft someone that's suspended for more than like 4 games. I don't draft people that are suspended unless I believe that they are going to be put in a great role. Now, Kareem Hunt is going to be pretty much out for 9 weeks, 8 or 9 weeks. But he's going to be gone for pretty much more than half of your fantasy season. Your fantasy season should be 16 games. If you're playing 17 games, then you need to tell your commissioner to fuck off, and then you want to be a 16 round, or not 16 round, a 16 game league. That is obviously how you should do it because in the 17th game, a lot of players don't play. But nevertheless, Kareem Hunt is right now the running back 2 behind Chubb. Now, if Chubb plays great, like I believe he will in the first 8 games, 9 games, however many games that is that Kareem Hunt is suspended, then why would you believe that Kareem Hunt would, for any reason, be getting a lot of touches? He's not going to be getting a lot of touches. He's not going to pass Chubb because Chubb is going to play great. And Kareem Hunt, yeah, sure, he'll get a bunch of snaps. He'll probably get like 8 rushes a game or something. But Nick Chubb is still going to be ahead of him. And drafting someone that is so uncertain this late with such a long suspension is just not the right move. So that's why he's a sell for me. Now at the 803, we have Green Bay wideout Geronimo Allison. Now I don't hate Geronimo Allison. I believe in a lot of the hype around Geronimo Allison, but his teammate MVS going at the 811 I like better. So for that reason, he is a sell. Now Geronimo is going to be the slot guy that obviously has some value. But I think that when it comes to the end of the day, I think Rodgers is not going to target him as much as Valdez Scantling. Aaron Rodgers loves throwing it to the outside the numbers. MVS is obviously going to be on the outside over there. And Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks at throwing it over there. So I think that Geronimo Allison will obviously have some value, and I wouldn't hate picking him if Marquez Valdez Scantling went in front of him. But the way that this draft is going, the way the ADP is based, he's a sell for that reason. Because he's going ahead of MVS, who I like better. So at the 804, we have Mr. Sammy Watkins, Mr. KFC, the Chiefs' new wideout. Not new, he was new last year, but you get what I'm saying. At the 804, I like Sammy Watkins. Now, a lot of people be hating on Sammy Watkins because a lot of people liked him earlier in the offseason because Tyreek Hill, it was looking like he was going to get suspended. It was looking like when he was boxing against his son, he fucking was going to catch a suspension for that. But you know what? It turns out that the NFL said, "Fuck it, let's not suspend him." And that's just how it is. I don't know what really happened, so what am I to know about if they should have suspended him or not? So they don't suspend him. So now Sammy Watkins goes from someone who a lot of people love because he's going to be the wide receiver one for like 4 games or 5 games, however long they believe that Tyreek would get suspended for. Now he's gonna be the wide receiver too, and everyone's like, "Oh, that fucking sucks." But I don't think these people understand who his quarterback is. Sammy Watkins' quarterback is Pat Mahomes, Mr. 50 touchdown, the big 5-0. And Sammy Watkins last year during the fantasy, not during the fantasy championship, during the real playoffs, the real NFL playoffs, Sammy Watkins had 2 great games. And I believe that Sammy Watkins will continue to play great just like he did in the playoffs with Pat Mahomes. I think at the 804, he is a steal. Now, a lot of people don't like Sammy Watkins for one reason. They really don't like Sammy Watkins because Sammy Watkins has burned them in the past. They drafted Sammy Watkins when he was on the Bills, and Sammy Watkins was fucking ass when he was on the Bills. A lot of people viewed him very highly, and he never was able to get to play as well as they thought he would. So they don't like Sammy Watkins. But I believe that this year Sammy Watkins is going to have a pretty decent year, and with an 8th round pick, that could be, you may end up drafting someone that completely sucks here. So you might as well take a flyer here on someone who really could play great in such a great offense. So for that reason, I like Sammy Watkins. Now at the 805, we have the rookie, the Heisman, Kyler Murray. Not the Heisman. He's not the guy that's on the Heisman, but he's the guy that won the Heisman. You know what I'm saying? He's on the Cardinals now. He's a quarterback, and we're buying Mr. Kyler Murray. Now, a lot of people will tell you that rushing quarterbacks are cheat codes in fantasy, and those people are very right because say you're playing in a 6-point quarterback touchdown league for throwing, right? And and it's also 6 point for rushing touchdown, so it's fine with that. But if you're playing in a 4 point per passing touchdown league, it's better if Kyler Murray runs it in because you get 2 more points. And Kyler Murray only has to throw the ball. He has to throw the ball 25 yards, right, to occur 1 point pretty much in your leagues normally, based on normal settings that I've played in. It's 25 yards per 1 point. But then if he runs the ball, he only needs to run the ball 10 yards to get that same 1 point. And a guy like Kyler Murray, who uses his legs a lot, who's going to be able to run out of the pocket, run 10 yards, be able to be someone who can keep the defenses guessing. David Johnson's a great running back, so in play action situations, they might bite. Defenses may bite on David Johnson when they have a good quarterback. Now, Kyler Murray is not just a guy who you can expect to just run the ball a lot like Lamar Jackson. Kyler Murray is like Lamar Jackson, but if Lamar Jackson knew how to throw the ball, pretty much that's what Kyler Murray is. Now, actually, that's kind of a lie because Kyler Murray's not going to be running 1,000 yards this year. Kyler Murray may get 700 yards or 800 yards or 900 rushing yards, but he's going to throw a shit ton more yards and throw a lot more accurately. So for that reason, I like Mr. Kyler Murray at the 805. At the 806, we have Chief David Njoku of the Cleveland Browns. Now, I like Mr. David Njoku. I don't love him. I do not love him, and I do not claim to love him. But I believe if you waited on tight end to about the 8th round, this is where, if you don't pick him, he's like the end of a tier here. Because guys like Hunter Henry are gone. Guys like Evan Ingram are gone. Guys that you wanted to target may be pretty much gone. Guys like OJ Howard. And all the big 3 tight ends are already gone. So now you have to either make a decision. Do you want David Njoku, who is the end of, say, the 4th tier? Or do you want to just wait for a guy like Mark Andrews later? Now, sometimes I'll just wait, but in situations where I want to make sure that I get a tight end that I feel is pretty safe to stay in my lineup the whole year, I like David Njoku. Now, I made that argument that there's too many cooks in the kitchen for in the Freddy kitchens for the Cleveland Browns. Now, that is true for Jarvis, but I do think that David Njoku is going to be butt ass naked in the end zone sometimes because they're going to be too worried about Odell that Njoku's just going to be wide open. I think Njoku, this is the year he truly plays great. We've thought Njoku was the fantasy tight end in the past. Last year, I drafted him a lot. He didn't really provide all that great. He wasn't very consistent. But I think this year, the consistency is going to come for David Njoku, and I like drafting him at the 806. Now, at the 807, we have Sterling Shepard. Now, Sterling Shepard is a sell, and you might be wondering, Nick, why is he a sell? He's the not the running back one, the wide receiver one on the New York JV Football Giants. And for that reason alone, that's why I don't like him. He's on the junior varsity Giants. The Giants play like a fucking college team. They're going to be terrible this year. The only player that I am drafting is Saquon or Evan Ingram. And Sterling Shepard, I liked Sterling Shepard actually before, but then he hurt his fucking finger. And now I don't know if he's going to be playing in the first few weeks of the season. And I just like to straight up just avoid that because I'm not drafting some guy in the 8th round that's going to be out for 3 games. That's not even a top caliber guy. Say if you saw that Tyreek got hurt and you waited till the 4th round because he's going to be out for 3 games, that's fine. But waiting for a guy like Sterling Shepard who's not that great of a talent anyways in the 8th round, I just see that as a complete sell. You need to just sell that, not just completely avoid Sterling Shepard. Cross him off the list, just like his teammate Golden Tate, who's suspended for 4 games for doing them PEDs, just like Mr. Julian Edelman last season. So at the 808, we have Chicago Bears defense. Now, a lot of people in your league are going to draft Chicago defense. Some people may, in your league, draft him earlier in the 8th round. Some people may pull it in the 7th or 6th round. They may pull the trigger. I'm not pulling the trigger at all on the Chicago defense in the 8th round. They're a sell. I'm not pulling the trigger on them in any round unless it's the last round, really, because I don't see a reason in drafting a defense that highly. The fact that the Chicago defense is not going to be that much better this year than every other defense like they were last year. They were so good last year that it was actually crazy. But I think that they fall more back down to earth. They're not as great as I think that a lot of people believe they will be, because it's pretty hard for a defense in fantasy to repeat years back to back. Like the Jaguars last year were drafted in like the 10th round, the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. And then you want to know where they finished? Not that great. The Chicago Bears were number 1. So it's very hard to repeat on defense being a top defense. And I would much rather just stream the position every single week, changing defenses and feeling a lot better about it. So for that reason, they are a sell. At the 809, we have the Rolls-Royce Freeman, Denver Broncos running back. It came out today when I'm recording this video, or yesterday for you, that Philip Lindsay and Rolls-Royce are going to be in like a 50-50 split. 50-50 split. And I believe that Royce Freeman is going to truly have his breakout year last year. Everyone and their mother was all on Rolls-Royce last season. Pretty much. A lot of experts, a lot of people I saw in drafts were drafting Rolls-Royce, Royce Freeman, super high, and he did not perform how we thought he did, because the undrafted guy out of nowhere, Philip Lindsay, comes out of nowhere and plays great week 1. Now, you might tell me, oh, Nick, Philip Lindsay is still there. Yes, he is still there, but he got hurt last year. And I think that Royce Freeman will be able to build upon what he started last year and play great this year. And given a 50-50 split, I'd much rather take the guy that's going about 4 rounds later. Philip Lindsay goes about in the 4th or 5th round, and Royce Freeman goes in the 8th or 9th round typically. And he's at the 809 here, so I'm definitely buying him. At the 810, we have Mr. Marvin Jones, wide receiver, Detroit Lions. Now, for me, he's a buy. Now, if you've seen my other videos, I talk about Kenny Golladay a lot. I love Kenny Golladay. I think Kenny Golladay is going to play great this season, but I also think Marvin Jones is going to be playing great this season. There's no more Golden Tate on this offense. It's going to be the Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay show. And I think Marvin Jones could even put up similar production to Kenny Golladay going off 4 rounds later. And I think that Marvin Jones is going to play great because Matt Stafford at the end of last year was not healthy. He played not as great as he's played in years past. He threw, I believe it was a bunch of seasons. I think it was 6 seasons in a row throwing 5,000 passing yards, right? And last year he failed at doing that because he hurt his back towards the end of the season. And I think Mr. Matt Stafford, Matthew Snapback as I like to call him, is going to be back to his old normal self, not injured, and be able to be throwing bombs like he used to be able to. I think that the Lions will not be as trash as they were last year. I do think there may be a more run-heavy team because of how well Kerryon Johnson is going to play, but at the exact same time, I know for a fact that Marvin Jones is a great wide receiver, and I think that he's really going to step up to the plate this year and play pretty great on a team that doesn't really have many wide receivers. In my opinion, it's just it's Kenny Golladay going to be catching the passes, Marvin Jones, and Hawkinson. There's other names there, obviously, and Kerryon Johnson will be catching the ball. There's a few other names, but those wide receivers aren't really great, and it's not like a Brown situation where they have 9 wide receivers. So at the 8-11, we have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, aka MVS. The reason why I'm selling Geronimo Allison, he's a buy. And we're just going to go back, pretend you did not just see what happened to Ronald Jones. So MVS is a definite buy for me. He is going to be running on the outside, just like I said. He's going to be the outside the numbers guy. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw him the ball a lot. I believe that drafting either of these guys is going to be pretty good, but I prefer to get MVS because I think that Marquez Valdez-Scantling is going to be targeted more. He's going to get longer passes, and I think that he is overall the better player than Geronimo Allison. Geronimo Allison got banged up last year, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling stepped up to the plate and played well for a guy that you were picking up in fantasy off the waiver wire. Now he's obviously not going undrafted. He's going to be at the 8th round price, but with other wide receivers around him being pretty shaky, a guy like Sterling Shepard, and you'll see guys in the 9th round that are a lot more shaky, in my opinion, than Mr. Marquez Valdez-Scantling here at the 8-11. So for that reason, I'm going to buy Marquez Valdez-Scantling this season. So at the 8-12, we have Ronald Jones, the second, Rojo, the Tampa Bay Buccaneer running back, and he is a buy. Now, you may tell me, Nick, Peyton Barber last year was the man. He was able to do it. He wasn't really able to do anything, if I'm being honest, but he was the running back one because Rojo just didn't show up. Now, I think that Ronald Jones this year, he has to make his mark on this team because if Peyton Barber beats him out again, then this motherfucker is not an NFL caliber running back. And I think that with an 8th round pick, it's the running backs in the 8th, 9th, 10th round, 7th round are a lot. There's a lot of crapshoot. It's pretty much luck on whether these guys are going to be good or not. And I like buying a guy like Ronald Jones who's on an offense that's going to be on the field a lot. The Buccaneers defense is fucking god awful. And I think that famous Jameis is going to play pretty good this year and be able to put them in a lot of scoring situations. They have great wide receivers. They have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and they have 2 running backs that are just okay. And I believe Ronald Jones will emerge as the number 1 running back on the team. They also have great tight end options in OJ Howard and Cameron Brate. And I think that Ronald Jones this year is going to have to make his mark on this team, and he's going to play great. Now, he looks a lot different than last year. He put on some weight, I believe. He looks good. If you've seen that picture on Twitter, he looks pretty good. No homo. And I believe that he is going to play pretty great this season. And I really like Ronald Jones at the end of the 8th round or a potential 901 pick. Because if you're at the 8-12, you can just pick him in the 9th round because, you know, you don't want to be the idiot who drafted Ronald Jones in the 8th round if he's terrible. You know what I'm saying? So, thank you guys all for watching the video. I hope you really enjoyed watching this because I enjoyed making it. I hope you click that subscribe button and click that notification bell down below. And then just have a great goddamn day, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow with more videos. Goodbye, guys.